And it looks like we're live. Hooray! Yay, 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 yay. Look who I have with me. It's
Hello, everybody. I'm Connie from Just Another Stitch.
Connie is a wonder. Oh, I need to adjust my angle better. How's that? Is that a little better? Have to get the Bearded Yarn Dude sign in. I have to find a way to work in that plus the subscribe sign. But that's not for today. Anyway. Anyway, here we are. I'm so glad that you joined me. I had a really great time when I joined you on, was it Monday?
uh, Wednesday night. Wednesday. I
Wednesday?
lose track of the days.
So do I. So do I. You know, I've been semi-retired for a long time, which means I don't have a job and don't have an income. So, yeah, the days do run together. But we have a good time doing this, don't we?
And thank you for having me today, David.
Of course. I love your background.
Thank you. I'm having
I,
fun with the Christmas green screens.
I haven't been able to do a background through StreamYard. Apparently, there's something. Well, my computer is pretty old. Maybe that's what is going on because maybe there's some kind of a graphic card or something that I would need to make it work. I don't know.
It really should be pretty easy because you have of course your green screen and you put that behind you, and then you find like a background picture, and like if you go like if you hit the camera slash I think camera slash something button, and that's
Mm,
where you go. And now I think it says it used to say green screen, but now they changed it. Like today's the
you
first time
know,
they calling it something else now.
well, every time I've tried to do that, it has told me that my browser doesn't allow it. So I don't know what's going on. So, like a couple of seconds ago, we had two, apparently, it seemed we had two people in attendance, and then we had zero, and now we have one. So, I think those numbers lag, and now we're back to zero. I think those numbers lag, at least in terms of StreamYard. And when I do StreamYard, I don't bother to do YouTube at the same time. So I can't make anybody blue instantly if they're not already blue. But that's what goes on. That's what happens. Anyway, here we are. Sometimes people watch the replay. So, what's going on with you? What's new and exciting in your life?
Let's see. Today I'm working on my temperature blanket, trying to get my my rose caught up on that. Um
Mm.
Yesterday I started a Santa hat, which is a knitted hat.
Those are fun to do in crochet, at least. Knitting
And
is still a mystery to me.
been having lots of cat drama.
Well, we've been having dog drama because sometimes you can't quite wait to get outside. But he's old, so you can excuse him.
Yeah, my
He's
alley's ornery.
well, actually, it's the young kitten that my sister adopted when I was away for that one weekend. She's the ornery one. No, the older Cocker Spaniel, he's extremely mellow. All he wants is scritches and treats. Doesn't like to be held. because his joints ache. But scritches and treats, and he's happy.
Yeah, Allie loves to hiss and growl. And my other one, who's younger cat, Sophie, she's the biggest love bug.
Hmm. Well, actually, um, I in the room where I am now, where I do most of my work, I usually have the door closed. Sometimes to keep out TV noise. Sometimes because I'm talking in here and don't want to interrupt anything out there, and sometimes to keep curious pets away from the garbage can. Um, 'Cause you try to refrain from putting food garbage in your trash cans, but you wind up doing it in every trash can in the house, don't you?
That's usually how it goes.
And they will find it. Even if it's like a wrapper from a cracker, they'll find it. Hey, Roberta.
Hello, Roberta.
Anyway, let's say, I'm going to keep my eye off of that figure at the top that tells me how many viewers we have and pretend we're just having a party on our own. Um, yeah. So, yeah, we did have a good time on your live. Um, and you were telling me about your current, oops, I keep,
About what?
your current projects. I keep knocking this table and that's why it wobbles sometimes.
Yeah, on Fridays I work on my temperature blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday I work on crochet. And that's right now it's my peppermint blanket that I'm making. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I work on knitting. And right now I have a Santa hat that I'm working on. And then when that one I should finish quickly this coming week. So I'll probably do like a sock hat or an elf
Your,
hat next.
your schedule is that structured? Wow, I couldn't do that. I mean, I do have a list of things that I want to do. Um, I have a bunch. Oh, I think I need to make it a project to just list all of the patterns that I have, those that I have published. I'm knocking the table again, sorry. Those that I have published, those that are in testing, those that are not yet in testing. You know, um, I used to be a business analyst. I can do spreadsheets all day long, but I haven't done that with my patterns yet, and I really need to. But I have one that I'm ready, possibly two, that I can publish today. Um, so that's good because
That's
I have a specific goal I want to reach by the end of the year in terms of the number of patterns I have. I think it's achievable, but I might have to take shortcuts to do it.
yeah, I have
Uh,
my ghost plaid beanie, which is a knitted hat. That pattern I'll probably be releasing either tomorrow or Sunday and do a giveaway video.
mhm.
So that one's going to be
So,
coming.
where do you publish your patterns?
Ravelry.
Yeah. Ravelry is the only place I publish mine. Etsy and I did not part friends. Um, I have not fully investigated the possibilities of a Ribbler, though people tell me I should. I'm signed up for Ribbler, And occasionally I get emails saying I should look and see what I can do with it, but I haven't yet. But Etsy and I did not part friends, and I'm not going to do Etsy anymore.
See, what concerns me with Etsy is how they charge you even if you don't sell anything. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend money on the possibility that I'm going to lose money because I mean, you can't predict, if you'll sell anything or not.
Exactly, exactly. Now I moved my merch over from a different vendor to Teespring because Teespring, um, you can work Teespring together with YouTube and have a merch shelf on your YouTube page. I and typical for any kind of a Google function, they won't tell you what exactly the requirements are in order to be eligible, but they'll say you will be eligible soon. Just like if they tell you you have violated something, they won't tell you exactly how, but they'll give you a list of the rules. And I'm going, I know the rules, but which one specifically has someone claimed that I violated? Fortunately, I have been fortunate. Nobody has claimed that I violated any rules, but that's the way it goes with anything Google related.
See, that's what I've heard. I mean, so far I've been fortunate and haven't gotten contact by YouTube for anything. So hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah. Well, Susan K is here and is greeting
Hey,
us both.
Susan.
And Roberta is here also. She's been here all along, I think. I don't know for sure. Um, so I don't know exactly how many people are here because I can't trust that figure that's in the top of the screen for StreamYard. But here we are, and we're just having a lovely chat. So, actually, so I was telling you that I might come back to the some of the questions that you had in your live stream the other day, but there's one that came to me um, because I guess in the past 24 hours, I find myself watching a lot of history videos. And so there are some really wonderful historians who have YouTube videos out there. And, it's not their own YouTube channels, but they might have been on TV and somehow it found its way to YouTube. So I'm saying, who from the current age or any earlier age would you like to have a lunch or a dinner with?
Hmm. I'm thinking maybe the real Laura Ingalls Wilder. So I always like Little House on the Prairie, and I
I
read the
think
books.
that's a great choice. I
Or
loved reading those when I was a kid. I'm,
Helen Keller, I think would be another interesting one.
oh, yeah. Oh, two great choices, I think. Yeah. I've been thinking, um, I'm really into British history. So I've been thinking Lucy Worsley, who is an historian and has done a lot of, she's been a presenter or a host or a narrator for a lot of BBC um, history. um, programming, and I would just love to have, well, for one thing, 1/10 of her intelligence, but also 1/10 of her insight. And just the things that she has experienced, both in studying history and in learning how to present it to the masses. I think those are two very different things. And I think that they are both really, really fascinating. Um, Historical figures, Edward the Seventh, I think it was the seventh, the one who was the son of Victoria, who sort of brought England, or rather the United Kingdom, into the 20th century. But also Victoria, wow. I mean, she was on the throne forever and saw buttloads of change during her time. Also, the current Elizabeth. I mean, think of the change she has seen in her time. As far as Americans, I have to say Michelle and Barack Obama. They are welcome at my dinner table anytime. I the conversations I could have with them. Oh my God! You know, um, and that's not about politics. It's about intelligence and insight. You know what they have seen. Wow. Okay, so hit me with a question then.
Okay, let's see. Let me get my notebook out. I have some questions on there. Oops, and I'm knocking stuff over. Okay, let's see. What is the most spontaneous thing you have done?
Gosh, that would be hard to narrow down. You might It might be easier to say what is the least spontaneous thing I have done. But I tend to make spontaneous decisions, but then make plans to back them up. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So, um, 2 years ago, I moved to Dallas, and because my friend offered me um, a temporary housing and emotional support, and I wanted to build a new life, and didn't quite work out as well as I expected. But that was pretty darn spontaneous, even though it did require some planning. Um, Other spontaneous decisions. I keep knocking this table. I'm sorry about that. Other spontaneous decisions. I make small decisions daily, spontaneously, but they're very small and don't really require reporting of any sort. I'll go to this gas station instead of that, or I'll have this for lunch instead of that. That's not the sort of thing that this question was searching for. Anyway, so here I am back in Wilmington, North Carolina, no longer in Dallas. Um, I don't regret that decision. I don't regret the time I spent in Dallas. I don't regret the friends I made in Dallas. Um, there was a time when I desperately wanted to go back. Now, although I still want to be more independent than I am, it doesn't require relocating to Dallas. So, what about you? What's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Probably joining the Navy because, like, at the time, I was like very, very, very shy. And I mean, I still am shy, but I was so much more back then. And like anytime like people found out that I was joining the military, they were like, "You're joining the military," like just in total shock. And and it was kind of something that what kind of was out of character for me. So I joined and all, but one thing I did learn, there's really no type. I mean, there were lots of other people that were just as quiet and shy, and you know, you got pretty much any type of person you can imagine. And the funny thing is, like when it comes to boot camp, it really is not that hard. I mean, it
It
is, but
would
it's
be for
not.
me, but what
It's
was your job in the Navy?
electronics technician,
Oh, con.
which I was not good at. I'll admit it. And like whenever I was going through the A school for it, um I got set back 3 times in my training. And the last time, and I studied. I mean, I was always studying. It's not like you could, it wasn't like I wasn't trying. Because I mean, I always had my nose in my book studying. And the last time they dropped me, well, they had dropped me from the program, and I had to go talk to the lieutenant to basically see what they were going to do with me. But typically, that 4N, they typically sent you out undesignated, which basically typically means you have no real job and you kind of get like the stuff that typically no one wants to do. But not always. Some people do luck out when they're non designated and get cush jobs. So, I'm like, I go in there and he gave me another chance. He told me he better not see me again. And like there was one time after that. Um I think if I would have missed one more question, I would have failed on a test. And I just couldn't grasp it.
I had a friend in college who, in her last semester of her senior year, she still needed to take a math course, and the only one available to her was way above her ability. And I ran into her just after she had taken her final exam, and she knew she had failed the exam. But because she was a church music major, you know, someone had decided it was okay to give her like a charity passing grade in math just so that she could graduate. that semester. So yeah, I mean, I've envisioned being in that situation. Um, I think I've been fortunate in that I haven't placed myself in that situation. When I was in college, I got all the basic requirements over quickly. In fact, I did summer school. Um, in fact, I did summer school doing because the at my school the course that everyone took as your basic freshman science course was like zoology, and I could not face zoology. Um, and I had always enjoyed chemistry in college or in high school. So in summer school at a closer college, I just took a couple of courses and had them transfer over for credit. Um, I took a two-course sequence in chemistry, and that just made it so much easier. But if I had had to dissect anything, I would have run screaming into the night.
Sorry. But like one thing, too, like whenever I was at my first duty station, um, the one that was training me could tell I wasn't grasping it because I think he kind of got frustrated with me, and he was like, "We may have to put you elsewhere if because you don't seem to be grasping it." But then later he came back and he apologized to me and he was like, "Okay, we're going to keep trying until you get it." And it's like, "Okay."
Mm.
But like
What was it? A specific um, concept or set of concepts or procedures that were proving so difficult for you?
I think what kind of like threw me off was at first, like, and this was kind of early on in school, I had gotten sick and, I had to miss a day of school. And like I tried to, try to catch up, but there was like some of it that I just couldn't grasp. And I kept trying to ask questions to get it, but and it just seemed like from there, I just kind of fell behind.
Ah, I see.
Like,
Yeah, and I can
and
see how that kind of an instruction schedule would not really have a tolerance for any kind of an absence.
and it wasn't like I could go to school sick because like what basically happened was I wasn't feeling too good, and like one of the ones that lived in the same quad as me, she felt my head and she's like, "You're burning up." And she actually had a thermometer and she took my temperature and I broke the thermometer.
Oh my goodness.
So she went to talk to our company commanders, and she brought me to medical, and and even at first they were like they wouldn't let me move until my fever went down.
Probably a good idea. Nana Michelle and Daniel are here.
Hi y'all.
Glad to see you both. Daniel, I got your package yesterday.
But yeah, it's
Um,
not like how like when you typically go to a doctor, you don't necessarily have to tell your employer, "Hey, I went to the doctor and they advised me not to come to work." You don't have to do that. But in the Navy, it's in the military, it's different.
well, some corporate employers will say they require a doctor's note. Um, I mean, I remember once I had the flu and I was out for a week, And my coworkers were calling me and saying, "Are you coming back?" I'm going, "Yeah, but I just feel like crap right now." So, yeah, actually, that was the last, might have been the only time I had the flu. I do not recommend the flu for anyone. Get your vaccines. Um, yeah, the flu just totally sucked. Um, but that's the sort of thing it is. So, what else shall we talk about? Now, tell me again. You said before what's on your hook right now. What do you have as projected projects in the future?
Let's see. After I finally finish my peppermint blanket that I'm crocheting, I have a big blanket that I'm designing the pattern for, which I actually, have started on it. I just put it on pause because I want to get the peppermint blanket finished.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. After that, I'll probably work on like some shawls or ponchos, beanies, because I think I'm going to take a break from big projects, like really big projects, because too many blankets that I've done recently. And you just feel like you're not getting as much accomplished.
Well, yeah, some of the larger projects take more time, and that only makes sense. But it's frustrating in the moment because you want to like do at least one a day, and then you feel like, at least I do. I feel like I haven't done enough if I can't finish it in a day. But if I'm sitting here and falling asleep in the chair, then I'm not helping anyone. And I'm probably making mistakes in the project.
Because initially my plans was I wanted to make a graph gan next year, this coming year. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that still or not. Or if I do, it'll probably be later in the year.
I've tried GraphGAN several times, and every time I've tried, I've wound up just frogging and using the yarn for something else. I don't know what it is about GraphGANs. I just um, well, there are so many different things, really. For one thing, now that I do my own patterns, I get bored with other people's patterns or lose patience with them. I get bored with my own patterns if I've done them a couple of times. Um, so yeah, GraphGANs, you just have to be so careful and exact and counting. I always say, the home renovation shows, they will say count, yeah, measure twice, cut once. I say twice is not enough. You need to count like a bunch of times before you're certain where you are.
Yeah, because I know like I used well, I still technically cross stitch. I just haven't done it in the last few years. But with cross stitching, it's so easy to
I
miscount.
exactly, but I would think it would also be easy to count. My sister does counted cross stitch. She's actually pretty well accomplished with it. You can see the hint of a violin behind me. That's my sister's work. Um, but still counting can be a pain in the butt.
Now, one thing with cross stitching, and this is something I've never done because it's not how I learned, but if I go back to doing any cross stitching, I do want to try this. But you can actually like kind of graph out your Ada cloth and like kind of like I think 5 by 5, which is supposed to make it a lot easier so
Hmm.
you don't lose count. But again, I haven't tried it yet.
Well, wouldn't it be the same regardless of the count? So the graph would be the same. So if the count was finer, then the result would be just more compact.
What was that?
Or um, no, I'm just thinking that wouldn't the count be the same regardless of the fabric that you're using?
Well, what it does is it makes it easier to count like the stitches. Like say you have to skip like 13 stitches where like each block is like, 5 stitches, 5 stitches. But now if you miscount when you make the graph, then you might be off though. So it's not foolproof.
Nothing is foolproof. And believe you me, I know how to be a fool. Um, so yeah. Oh, hey Samantha Stewart, welcome in.
Hey Samantha.
Um, so yeah, okay. Let's go back to the other questions that we were talking about the other day. Let me find them. Let's no, that's not it. No. Okay, here we go. So, okay, here's one. Oh, we could go off on a tangent on this. What was your first car?
Mine was a 1987 Chevy Cavalier. And this core loved to break down. Like within 3 months, it was breaking down.
Did you get it new?
No, it
Okay,
was like 10 years old when I got it. And I mean, I even had it checked out by a mechanic before I bought it.
mm-hmm.
And the thing was that like it was always minor stuff that would go out. Like the alternator battery, ignition coil, uh the water pump, stuff like that, the hoses.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Well, I hope it was still under warranty. The one that I called my first car, actually, well, it wasn't mine. It was my dad's car that I drove a lot. It was a 1975 Vega, a Chevy Vega, and it was orange. It was so orange. It had absolutely no options on it, not a single one. It had a three-speed manual. In those days, four on the floor was racy. It was a 1975 Vega, and I got my license in 1978. Do the math on your own, but suffice it to say, I'm old. Um, but I still had a good time driving it around. And then, um, I think at some point they got a third car, basically for my dad to drive to work and back. They traded both of the Vega and the third car in for a Toyota, and that thing lasted forever. I think it was maybe 40 years old before they traded it in. Okay, that might have been an exaggeration, but still, it lasted forever, and with good reason. Um, yeah, I've always been into cars, and even now I watch automotive channels.
But yeah, yeah, my first car loved to break down.
What are you driving now?
We have a Buick LaCrosse.
Do you like it?
Yeah, we really haven't had much problems with it. The battery went out, and we had to replace a headlight. That's
Mm.
about it.
So you don't sound very passionate about it.
I mean, it's a core. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get as much into the whole core thing.
And I'm a strange car guy because I'm not into like the modifications and all the performance stuff. I don't need a high performance car. I don't need, you know, these exotic sports cars that a lot of people have on YouTube channels, especially if they become successful through YouTube or whatever else they're doing, and then they have to show off these things that I could hardly get into and out of at my age, but because they're so low. And then I'm a sedan guy. I don't need an SUV. I had a Toyota Camry for a very, very long time, and it served me so well. So, if I had the option to buy a new car, I might get another Toyota product, whether it's a Camry or an Avalon, which is an upscale Camry, or even a Lexus, which is an upscale Avalon, really. But, that's when I win the lottery. And, we never know when that'll happen.
See, for me, like I'm more concerned with the reliability of a vehicle. Um, and I prefer like a core. Like I don't like big vehicles, but I also don't like tiny cores. Where they're like,
Hmm.
but like kind
Well,
of like
yeah,
about the size of a Chevy Cavalier or like the Buick LaCrosse. That's about the size that I like.
yeah.
Um, but now my dream core would be um oh, what you call those cores. Now my mind's going blank. The Beetle, the Volkswagen Beetle.
Oh, they're cute. I remember a couple of years ago, um, I had a VW Passat, and I loved that car, actually. So one day while I was there for service, I was just poking around in the showroom, and they had the cutest Beetle there that was like a special package, um, and lots of pink. I think it had to do with Breast Cancer Awareness Month or something. But
Pink.
I loved that car and I wanted it. But since then, from the automotive channels that I watch, I have not heard great reports about the reliability of Beetles. And that's another reason why I would stick to Toyota. I would go for another Camry or an Avalon or a Lexus. Now, right now, what I'm driving is a Hyundai Sonata that belonged to my mother, who died, 2 years ago. Um, Hello, my own utopia.
Hey, Kaylina.
Um, so anyway, so your dream car would be a Beetle, you said.
Yeah, but it's really not the most practical vehicle, though.
Oh, well, it depends upon what your needs are.
Well, it's just it's so tiny. You don't have a lot of room to really like carry stuff in your vehicle or like.
Well, it's always a give and take thing. So
Mhm.
how often do you need that much room?
Really not that often, but you still kind of like to have a little, have extra space in case you need it, though. But
Yeah, that with houses and apartments too. Yeah, but yeah, it's true. I did want that pink beetle. I did,
see now, if
but
I'd want pink.
hmm.
I'd want a pink beetle.
Okay, hey, non
Her name's
OV5.
Iris.
Okay, I'm not sure I've seen you before, but you're always welcome.
Yeah, Iris is one of my Yorny friends.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Hi, Iris.
Okay, yeah, we like to see new people. Um, what else were we gonna say? Let me find another question to talk about. What is your favorite thing to eat or drink in the winter?
Eggnog and cornbread dressing. And
The dressing is my favorite part of Thanksgiving, I have to say.
and with cornbread dressing, I don't know, it holds more of a special place to me because my mom always made it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like after she passed away, like no one really knew what she really did when it came to making it. So finally, like, we kind of got it where we pieced the recipe together where it's close to how my mom made it.
Yeah, exactly. I have some things, even the things that are written out, they don't come out exactly the same. So I don't know what's going on there.
And I think my
Um,
mom had like written something down and gave it to my aunt, but I guess, maybe she changed it over the years, or how a lot of times people don't really measure and stuff. And between recipe that my aunt had and my sister helping my mom make it, they kind of, figured out what my mom did pretty closely.
so then you're able to approximate, um, well, at least create something like what she did.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's as good as you can get, apparently. This year, um, I did some make ahead gravy. I got some turkey part, or no, some chicken parts. I got a package of thighs for like less than $7 at the grocery store for 8 thighs. So that was plenty for making stock from which I made the gravy. So it was my make ahead gravy. And then we had, to be honest, my sister got some pre-made cornbread dressing from the grocery store, and it was just fine. There was not a thing wrong with it. And with the gravy, which turned out a little too salty, but that's okay. Um, it was just wonderful. Um, we had talked about going to a restaurant for Thanksgiving, but we wound up cooking at home, and it was much better. And it's just me and her anyway. So, so do you have a lot of people coming over for when you do those big holiday meals?
Not usually, um, because like when it comes to me and Frank's family, they've either passed on, or it's like our family's scattered. So most of the time, it's usually just me and Frank. Um, we did have like one holiday that we got more people to come over, and it's like, and I would try to get people to come, but like usually they had plans elsewhere, and it just never really seems to work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have extended family nearby, but we've sort of given up on reaching out to them because they're not reaching out to us. Um, so even though they're like in the same city, we just we're not in frequent contact. Which is a shame because I do love these cousins. I just don't see them that often, and I don't see them making an effort. I perhaps I could make more of an effort, but I'm old and burnt out.
And the thing is that like most years, usually like I'll cook like our favorites, like a turkey, uh, of course the cornbread dressing, and rice dressing,
Hmm. Rice
and
dressing. Tell me about that.
it's basically where you take I think it's ground meat and liver. I haven't made it like in the last few years. No, I know what it is. It's I think chicken hearts and liver and chicken liver. That's it. You
So,
grind,
like what they call the gizzards that come out of the
yeah,
bird. Yeah.
and you grind it up, and basically rice with some onions and peppers. And
Mm.
there's different ways to make rice dressing.
Yeah, I've seen the gizzards incorporated into the stuffing, the dressing, um, and or into the gravy. Um, I could take or leave them. I'm not. I don't have strong feelings about them. Um, I do like making stock. That's why I wanted to. This is the first time I have done a make ahead gravy. I did it the day before with all of those um, chicken thighs, and then I had the meat from the thighs that I later made a chicken salad out of, and that was pretty darn delicious as well.
Now, one thing I like to do with leftover turkey is make a turkey noodle soup.
Oh yeah, I like to make soup. I really do. Um, and of course, you always see lots and lots of recipes online. I watch a lot of cooking videos, so you see lots of ideas for what you can do with Thanksgiving leftovers. And the assumption is that people will just be so tired of the the turkey and the dressing
Yeah,
that
you
they'll be desperate for anything.
and you take the broth from when you make the turkey,
Hmm.
and like normally when I make my turkey, I stuff it with onions, lemons, green apples, and oranges.
So you actually put those things in the cavity.
Hmm.
Do you use them later, or do you
Oh,
just discard them when the turkey has cooked?
I'll eat the like I like the onions, so I'll eat the onions, but like the rest, we discord.
Yeah, there are different schools of thought about that, and I mean there are also stories about uh, people stuffing the bird and then um, whatever is in the bird um, or inside the cavity itself not getting to a sufficient heat, and then misfortune ensues.
Hmm.
But that actually sounds quite interesting. I would like to do more, but around here, we usually do, as we did this year, we had a turkey breast that I think it was a butterball turkey breast only, which was perfect because there are just two of us. And it really came out nicely. It was not a bit dry, and it was quite tasty.
Now,
So that worked fine.
one thing I like doing, like after the holiday when they mark down the turkeys, like
Uh-huh.
Walmart tends to mark them down like really, like the really like big turkeys. You can get them like for $5,
Oh,
and
yeah. I
that's when
told my sister next time you go to the store, get some more for the freezer.
I like to buy my turkeys, get them cheap.
Exactly. Yeah, we like having a freezer. What time is it now? It is. Okay, it's 4:55. In theory, Granny D goes live at 5 o'clock. Sometimes she's a little late, but just in case, right now I will post her link. Hey Yarnbarf, hey Laura Lee, hey Janine. I'm sorry if I've been missing people as they come in.
Hey, Laura Lee and Yornborf and Deneen.
Anyway, we will have to conclude pretty soon to go over and visit Granny D, and we can call it some sort of a raid from over here, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we don't have that many. Well, we have 9 people according to StreamYard right now. How are we doing for thumbs?
I'm not sure. I only have StreamYard up.
Well, yeah, yeah. I wonder if somebody else in the room could tell us how we're doing for thumbs. Um, let's anyway, so in a few minutes we'll go over to see Granny D and give her all of our love because she deserves every bit of it. She has always been so kind to me. You cannot meet with her in person without coming away with bags and bags and bags of yarn.
That's true. You got to meet Granny D.
Twice now.
Whoa.
So, and I actually I would love to make another trip up to the Charlotte area before Christmas because I have a gift for my friend who lives in Charlotte. Oh, I have 15 thumbs. I think that's great. Yeah, I have a gift for my friend who lives in Charlotte, so I wanted to deliver it in person. I have a sweater that would be perfect for her husband, except it's lion brand fisherman's wool, and he doesn't do wool. But I think the fit would be perfect. Maybe I'll ask him to try it on and at least let me take some pictures. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so let us call it a day. and go over to Granny D. And thank you, everybody who has been here, regardless of how long you've been here, even if you just came in recently. And as always, like, subscribe, comment, share, all the standard YouTube crap. And thank you, Connie, for being with me.
Thank you.
And let's go and visit Granny D. Okay? I'll put the link up just one more time.
And thank you for having me, David.
Of course. Okay, let's see. Okay, there's the link one more time. Okay, thank you, everybody. Bye bye now.
Bye, everyone.